Hi, Samuel and Bobby. How are you? Uh, is it Samuel or Samael? Is it Samael like the angel? Which is fine. I'm named after a freaking saint. I'm just curious. Okay, so Samael. Excellent. So it's just the two of you here right now, and that's fine. I just went and saw the Rise of Skywalker a second time. Have either of you seen it yet? Bobby, you should. It's good. It's really good. In fact, I went the first time and I gave it a solid B. And after going a second time today, I give it an A minus, like a 91. It's good. I enjoyed it quite well. But why are you not going to? I'm interested to know. I can see where you're coming from there. You don't love new Star Wars, but there's actually some good stuff there. Some really good stuff. And this movie is I enjoyed it quite well. Yeah, I enjoyed Star Wars Rebels. Um, Not quite as much as the Clone Wars. Yeah, Solo and Rogue One were both great, but like seriously, Bobby, at least give this movie a shot. Check it out at least once because it's good. And that's the whole reason I'm making this like spontaneous live cast is because I the divisiveness of the fandom has pissed me off to a point that I need to rant about it because just because something's not what somebody expects is not a reason to verbally attack them, and that's been going on lately, and it really upsets me. You know, there are things I like, things I don't like, but I'm not rude and nasty to people, and there have been a number of people in the fandom who for the past 4 years in the Star Wars fandom since uh, the episode 7 came out. Like there's been a lot of that, and you know, what I want to say is like, if you like something, you like something. If you don't, you don't. But we don't need to be speaking poorly to each other and attacking each other and stuff like that. Samael. No, I have not watched The Mandalorian, and my reason why is because I refuse to pay for another streaming service. I I'm I want to see it very much, but I just want to wait for it to come out on DVD, just because I don't want to pay another I mean, I pay for Amazon Prime, I pay for cable, I pay for my internet bill, I pay for all this fucking shit, and I don't want to pay for another bill. I mean, every Disney movie I want, I already own. Maybe on VHS, but I still already own. And it just yeah it I don't know. I wonder, anyone out there, um does anybody out there think that these streaming services are going to have to conglomerate somehow within the next 2 or 3 years? Do you think there are going to be enough people with an opinion like me, like I'm not going to pay for all these separate things? Because I'm curious. I'm curious how everybody else feels too. Oh well, Samuel. I haven't looked it up. I mean, I know what a yellow lightsaber is. Not a consular, not a guardian, a sentinel. It's a sentinel's lightsaber, and in Clone Wars, they were also used by the guards of the Jedi Temple. So I'm wondering if that's what it represents. Yeah, Palpatine feared them the most because they're. I mean, I don't know if you ever played KOTOR, but I always played a Sentinel. I mean, you have the most skills. So when you can't use your space wizard powers, you can fall back on like being able to do shit. Which yeah, that always appealed to me. But yeah, I wanted to rant because I went and saw it a second time, and I've seen so much negative stuff on the internet recently about this movie, and A, I liked it well enough that I went back and saw it a second time. And B, I liked it even more the second time I saw it than I did the first time. It's a good movie. I mean, it's better than any of that fucking Avengers shit that comes out like every other month. And that's being put out by the same company. And it's just the same, big explosions, shit falling apart all over the place. Somebody getting beat up. Oh, we're going to pull at your heartstrings because somebody dies. Bullshit that you see every fucking Avengers movie, which, like, I got tired of a long time ago. I mean, the last, honestly, the last Marvel movie that I thought was really good was X2. And that wasn't even a Marvel movie. That was done by Fox Studios. I saw Doctor Strange. I saw both of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and I liked them well. They were fun. They were great popcorn movies, but it's not life changing. Oh, Bobby, if you haven't heard anything negative yet, then you have not been watching the internet, because a lot of people are whinging and moaning like somebody just, you know, gave their mom cancer or something like that. But yeah, I no, I'm putting this video up because my issue is how divisive the fandom has become. Like, because whether someone likes something or not, like, you can respect that view and still not necessarily agree with it. And I mean, so many fandoms have become that way. The GOT fandom, the Star Wars fandom, the like, so many fandoms have become that way, and I like I I like to be able to sit and talk to people and say, like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I liked this. I see why you didn't. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, I didn't like this. I see why you did. Whatever. And you can do that. And I think oh gosh, am I going to say this? You know what? I am, because I'm General fucking Adama. Right here, there's a picture of me, Admiral fucking Adama, right there, pink tie and everything. I I I like that people can say I don't necessarily agree with you and still have a civil discourse. And I think we've got to a point where, for a number of reasons, I think we've got to a point in the past 5 years where that's not the case anymore. And it very much offends me. It very much upsets me, especially since the world might be ending Thursday. Uh, yeah, Samael, I totally agree with you. I've always had a feeling Finn was force sensitive. I mean, you think about it, like I actually have taken training with edged weapons, and when you have a sword in your hand, like the way the weight is, then you think about a lightsaber, and the weight is totally different. Like, and you have to constantly think about the fact that there's this 3 feet of death at the end of this stick, but I only feel like 1 pound of it, because it's the lightsaber that I'm holding in my hand. And yeah, pretty much from the first film, I kind of had that feeling. I don't necessarily know that I think he's a Jedi, but yeah, I definitely think he's force sensitive. By the way, I have my dad's shirt on. He left it in my car the other day. And since I wanted to go to a movie at my work after I got off of work, I went out and changed into my dad's shirt. And it feels so strange. I have not worn a flannel shirt for like 30 years. So bizarre. Hey, Peter, how are you, man? Peter, have you seen the new Star Wars film yet? Rise of Skywalker? I'm sorry this is such a boring live stream, guys, but I really do want other people's opinions, and I just want to rant for a second, but I'm glad people came out. Does anybody, if anybody has anything to talk about, even if it's not Star Wars, I'd be interested to hear it. New music videos coming out tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that. Sorry it didn't come up earlier, but it's been a very, very, very busy weekend at work. Okay, Peter, you said, well, first you said Wookiees are actually force sensitive. Is a race? Is there like a canon? Like I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but is there a canon book or something that actually says that? And also, yes, you said you watched episode 9. Uh, what was your opinion? I'd like to know what you thought. A 7.5? Okay. The first time I watched it, I gave it a solid B. I gave it like an 85. But I watched it again tonight, and yeah, I give it a 91 or a 92. I mean, it's not Empire Strikes Back, it's not Revenge of the Sith, it's not Rogue One, but it was a pretty damn good movie. I liked The Last Jedi too. I did. I liked bitter, angry Luke. I liked, you know, that I felt like these characters developed. Because I don't think you could hold on to that idealism for another 30 years, especially if you're dealing with a bunch of fucking teenagers. Which, having his Jedi Academy, that's exactly what he had to do. Poor guy. But no, my only issue with The Last Jedi, and I think that that's what's caused so much of the divisiveness in this fandom, is the way that the production staff handled fans not enjoying it. Like, if they had just said, hey, this is the movie we wanted to make, we understand you didn't like it, we respect your opinion, I think all of this bullshit would not be happening. Of course, I think if people had that kind of dialogue with each other on a regular basis, this type of bullshit would never happen in the first place. You know, and that's pretty much what I'm putting this up here for. And I'm only going to go for like another 10-15 minutes, but I just want to personally say that I think the fandom needs to come back together as a family. Like, whether you liked something or not, whether you agree with something or not, whether you make agree with the decision that was made or not, like, fandom needs to come back together, and it really breaks my heart how divisive it is. And I think a lot of the divisiveness is because of prior decisions that were made, and I don't even think it's about this film. Because I think this film stands pretty well on its own laurels. I will say that there were so many loose ends left that some of it felt rushed because some things needed to be, like, those loose ends needed to be tied together. But still, as a whole, I thought this film was good. And regardless, I think, you know, this fandom has become very toxic, and that really upsets me. You know, it upsets me how toxic this fandom has become, and other fandoms too. You know, we all know each other through the Game of Thrones community for the most part, and that fandom has become toxic. And there are people who like it and people who didn't. And yeah, I thought that production was rushed, but I didn't freaking hate it. And even if I did hate it, I wouldn't tell somebody they're an idiot for liking it. You know, but the divisiveness in everything nowadays just drives me freaking crazy. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? I'm not going to talk about the elephant in the room. I think we all know what elephant I'm talking about in the room. But I'm not going to talk about that because I don't talk about political stuff on my channel. We don't discuss that here. But the divisiveness in the fandom is like so reflective of just so many other things that are going on in society. Yes, Bobby, people act bad these days. They act poorly. You don't see a like whatever happened to respectful discourse. You know, because you really see that nowadays. Now, me personally, I won't have anybody on my channel who is rude or nasty to me or any of my guests or any of my followers or anybody like anybody who says something nasty. I'm like, hey, you're fucking out of here right now. But you know, yeah, everything is so divisive nowadays, and it I think maybe that's what the whole reason I'm doing this stream is because I maybe I just want to talk about it. Anybody else have any thoughts? Peter, stream sites. I no, I don't have anything from Apple because I'm a I'm a diehard LG fan. I have Amazon Prime. I have cable. Hate watching is trending right now. It will die down eventually. Oh, you're talking about people like watching something just to piss them off? I don't know if that'll die down. I want it to. I really want it to. But I don't know that it's going to. I hope so. But who knows? We might be in World War III by the end of the week. So Who knows? And negative review, like it. Well, I don't understand why people take time out of their day to whinge about, oh, I didn't like this book, or oh, I didn't like this movie, or something like that. Like, God only gave you so many freaking minutes. Can you spend them doing something else besides whinging? By the way, I'm sorry I didn't shave this morning. I know I look like a hobo Jesus or something like that. My apologies, guys. Yeah, Bobby, I missed the Hound too, but I liked how he went out. I appreciated that quite a bit. I personally did not care for the last 3 episodes of season 8 of Game of Thrones, but I'm not going to sit and whinge and moan about it for like the rest of my life. Like it, broke my heart, and I'm never going to get over it. But yeah, the Hound was your hero. Okay, my hero was Arya Stark. If it comes down to Game of Thrones stuff, I remember when A Clash of Kings came out. I read and I've probably told you this story before, Bobby, because you and I know each other on a personal level. Uh, when A Clash of Kings came out, my roommate was like, "Hey, you have to read this." And so I literally sat in a chair with a bottle of Balvenie, and I think it was 3 packs of cigarettes, and read the entirety of the first 2 Game of Thrones books, like in one sitting. I got up to pee a couple times. That's about it. But at the end of that, I was like, if everybody on the fucking planet dies and it's just Arya Stark and 3 dragons, I would be totally fine with that ending. But yeah, the Hound's pretty cool too. Yeah, Peter, you have to admit you liked watching Qyburn get killed though. I mean, he was such a sketchy freak. Like, Qyburn dying was like watching Ted Bundy die. It really didn't bug me that much. In fact, I thought it was like kind of a good thing. Spiked like a football. For anybody out there in the chat or who's watching this later, if you're not from America, spiking a football is it's a certain play one makes basically to take up time. But yeah. Screw you, Peter, because I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that now. Thanks. So I do have new music coming out tomorrow. I'll also have a Believe video. I will be talking about The Return of the Great White Duke from Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman. It was an amazing short story. I don't have a guest, so it'll be a pretty quick episode. And then also new music's coming out, and I've got some really new cool stuff I'm doing with music this year. I've taken a few weeks off to get some stuff done, but yeah, I'm quite excited about it. Oh yeah, Peter, the Danny scene with dragon wings behind her was fracking awesome. Very well done. And you can thank the director, not the producers or the writers, for that one, because they really aren't clever enough. But yeah, that was an awesome scene. That was a freaking awesome scene. Honestly, Arya killing the Night King, like a lot of people hated that scene. I loved it because it was foreshadowed twice in the series. The whole knife drop to the other hand. I always forget because I'm basically a lefty, so my dropping to the other hand is different than somebody else's dropping to the other hand. But yeah, I mean, it was foreshadowed. You saw it twice before that, and I thought it was absolutely very well done. Other things that I loved from season 8. You still do the Arya knife with your car keys? Can you explain what you mean there? Because I'm not quite understanding it. Oh, is it like starting your car? Yeah. Are you a lefty too? Like everything is backwards, and even if like I've been driving for. Oh, Arya dropped her Catspaw to kill the Night King. You do it with keys. Okay. Yeah, like for me, like and I forget things. Like I'll open the door to my car, and then I get in, and I'm like, oh wait, there's the ignition. It's not over here. You know, things like that. And even though I've been driving forever, I mean, and it's funny for me because I was born a lefty, but I'm essentially ambidextrous. But like my guitar is a right-handed guitar strung left-handed and set up to be played left-handed, but it's still like everything's upside down. Oh, you've dropped your keys a couple of times. Yeah, I've dropped my keys a few times in my life, but that was mostly in my youth, and it was times that I probably should not have been driving. And thank the Holy Father in heaven that I'm still alive because I really should not have been driving. Why do left-handed guitarists have an advantage? Just because the way things are set up in our world, even if you're left-handed, you use your right hand for so many things that the muscles are developed more. So even though your proficient hand is your left hand, your muscles in your right hand you're so used to using for very particular thing. Like I was saying, like starting my ignition in my car. And yeah, so that's why I learned how to play my guitar left-handed. Also, your brother might just be like, a left-handed snob, because there are a lot of those out there. I don't know. I've never met your brother, Peter. So, anybody out there have any thoughts about this movie, or any thoughts about the fandom? Because that's actually what this video is about. Is my thoughts about the fandom, because I really want to hear what people have to say. Because it like, and part of it's working in a theater, and part of it's being an online content creator. But I see so much toxicity, and I just want to know what normal people think. I'll be right back. Give me your ideas. Yeah, Peter, I want to watch The Mandalorian, but I don't want to pay for another freaking streaming service. Like, I kind of just want to wait for it to come out on DVD. That's another thing. Does anybody have any thoughts about that? How long do you think these independent streaming services are going to last before they conglomerate? Or maybe Disney will just own everything, and you won't have to worry about it. And Peter, I see what you're saying. I don't personally have a problem with that. I think if one creates a product, they have a right to take all the financial benefits from that product, because they did it and somebody else didn't. Like that, it really upset me back in the early 2000s when they tried to pull that monopoly uh, card out on Bill Gates. He's like, "Hey, I made Windows. I made your computers work. I should get money for that." And so that I don't have an issue with. But what I have an issue with is that we have like all these different freaking streaming services, and it's like I don't have that kind of money to throw out. I don't have a problem with wealthy people making more money. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's just the whole system that it looks like Telly's going in. It's just like video games. You know, it pisses me off that you need so many downloads to make a game work nowadays. And maybe it's just because I'm older and that's just the way I think. But I think you should be able to buy a game and take it out of the fucking box, and that's its content, and it works, and it's fine. But now it's all about fucking DLC, and that really annoys the living piss out of me. It's like I've already paid, you know, $60-$70 for this fucking game. And now I have to like dump money into a DLC just to be able to get the full experience out of it. Or like 9 DLCs. And it'll be a piss game like Skyrim. Like, I'm sorry, any Elder Scrolls fans out there? I loved Morrowind. Morrowind was a great game. Oblivion was boring as fuck. And Skyrim is just like overrated Call of Duty with swords instead of guns. Bobby, take it easy. Have a good night. I'll see you Friday for Silent John's. This is going to be a really good episode too. But yeah, you know, and everybody probably wants to go to bed. I appreciate you all coming out here to just listen to me rant for a minute, but it, yeah, I mean, the entire point is the fandom is just, and it's not just Star Wars fandom; it's all sorts of fandom. I mean, I've been dealing this for 15 years with D&D fans, D&D fandom. Um, you know, people getting toxic because somebody disagrees with them, and I don't understand that. Like, I don't necessarily like what you like, but I don't need to speak nasty to you. I don't need to treat you poorly. And I don't get why that's the world we live in now. It doesn't make any fracking sense to me. Anybody's got any ideas, please uh, uh, throw them in the chat, drop them in the comments section down below, but let me know. Why do people have to be so rude because they disagree about something? I don't get that. I don't understand it. I never have. Even when I was an angry fucking teenager, I didn't understand why people have to get so angry because somebody thinks a different way than they do. But yeah, if anybody has any thoughts about that, go ahead and drop them. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This has been John St. Baptiste, aka Ginger Jesus, because I need a shave really freaking bad. But I will see you all soon. In the meantime, if you would please be so kind, PLUR, which, by the way, I was asked what that means the other day. It means peace, love, unity, respect. And it's an old school raver thing, but it means the world. PLUR, be excellent to one another, and party on.